Sergeant Marcus Kane wiped the sweat from his forehead as he crouched behind the twisted remains of what used to be a cargo transport. The purple sky of Kepler 442b cast an eerie glow over the battlefield, where human marines and their alien allies fought desperately against the mechanical horrors known as the Devourers. The war had been raging for 3 years now. What started as humanity's first contact with intelligent alien life had quickly turned into a nightmare when the Devourers arrived. These weren't living beings, but rather self-replicating machines that consumed everything in their path, turning organic matter into fuel for their endless expansion. Marcus had seen things that would haunt him forever. Entire planets stripped bare, their surfaces left as barren metal wastelands. Cities of 1 million souls reduced to scrap metal in hours. But he had also seen something else that gave him hope: the unlikely alliance between humans and the Zephyrians. The Zephyrians were apex predators from the ice world of Glacialis Prime. Standing nearly 9 feet tall, with sleek, silver fur and razor-sharp claws, they were built for hunting. Their elongated skulls housed brains capable of tactical thinking that rivaled the best human strategists. Most humans feared them at first sight, but Marcus had learned to respect their fierce loyalty and protective nature. A low growl echoed from behind him. Marcus turned to see Vextar approaching, the massive Zephyrian moving with the fluid grace of a natural hunter. Vextar's amber eyes glowed in the dim light, and his scarred muzzle spoke of countless battles survived. Human Marcus. Vextar's voice was a deep rumble, translated through the neural implant all Alliance soldiers wore. The southern perimeter has been breached. The metal Devourers push through our lines. Marcus nodded grimly. They had been holding this position for 6 hours, but the Devourers seemed endless. For every machine they destroyed, 2 more took its place. The Alliance forces were running low on ammunition and energy cells. How long until the evacuation ships arrive? Marcus asked, checking his rifle's power indicator. Less than 20% remaining. 12 standard minutes, Vextar replied. His claws extended and retracted nervously, a sign Marcus had learned meant the Zephyrian was deeply troubled. There is something I must speak with you about, human. Before Marcus could respond, an explosion rocked their position. Through the smoke, he could see the distinctive red glow of Devourer optical sensors. 3 of the spider-like machines skittered over the debris, their metal legs clicking against the broken concrete. Contact front, Marcus shouted, raising his weapon. He squeezed off 3 quick bursts, the plasma bolts striking the lead Devourer and sending it tumbling backward in a shower of sparks. Vextar leaped over the barrier with impossible speed, his claws gleaming as they extended to full length. He landed on the second Devourer, driving his talons through its central processor housing. The machine convulsed and went dark, but the third unit was already charging its energy weapon. Marcus rolled to the side as a beam of superheated plasma scorched the ground where he had been standing. He came up firing, his shots punching holes in the Devourer's armor plating. But the machine kept advancing, its damaged system sparking but still functional. That's when Vextar did something that surprised even Marcus. The Zephyrian grabbed a chunk of debris and hurled it with perfect precision, striking the Devourer's weapon array and causing it to explode in a brilliant flash of light. Nice throw, Marcus said, breathing heavily. We must move, Vextar growled. More approach from the east. They bounded over the rubble, making their way toward the evacuation zone. Around them, other Alliance soldiers were falling back in organized retreats. The air filled with the whine of energy weapons and the mechanical screeching of damaged Devourers. As they ran, Vextar spoke again, his words coming in quick, urgent bursts. Human Marcus, I have young ones. Cubs. They are safe now, hidden in the deep caves of my homeworld. But if the metal Devourers reach Glacialis Prime, Marcus understood immediately. The Zephyrians were fierce warriors, but they were also deeply protective parents. Their cubs represented not just their future, but their entire emotional world. For a Zephyrian to speak of their young to an outsider was almost unthinkable. The evacuation ships, Marcus said as they reached the landing zone. Your cubs can come with us to the fortress worlds. They'll be safe there. Vextar stopped running and turned to face him. For a moment, The two soldiers stood in the chaos of the retreat, alien and human looking into each other's eyes. Marcus could see something in Vextar's gaze that he had never seen before: vulnerability. "You do not understand, human," Vextar said slowly. "My mate, she fell in the battle for Kepler 186F. I am all that remains to care for my cubs. But I am a warrior. I cannot abandon the fight while others still need protection." The sound of approaching evacuation ships grew louder. Marcus could see other soldiers beginning to board the transports, their faces grim but relieved to be leaving this hellscape behind. "What are you asking me, Vextar?" Marcus said, though he thought he already knew. The Zephyrian warrior, this apex predator who could tear a devourer apart with his bare claws, lowered his head slightly. "I am asking if you would care for them, my cubs, until I can return." Marcus felt the weight of the request settle on his shoulders. Caring for alien young was unprecedented. Hell, most humans were still getting used to the idea that aliens existed at all. And Zephyrian cubs weren't exactly household pets. They were the offspring of apex predators, genetically programmed to hunt and kill. But as he looked at Vextar, Marcus remembered all the times the Zephyrian had saved his life. The time Vextar had carried him 12 miles through enemy territory after Marcus took shrapnel to the leg. The countless battles where they had fought side by side, trusting each other with their lives. "Where are they now?" Marcus asked. A sound that might have been relief escaped from Vextar's throat. "They are in the sacred caves beneath Glacialis Prime. 3 cubs, each no larger than your human children. They have been fed and are sleeping, but they will need guidance soon. Training." The evacuation ships were landing now, their engines kicking up clouds of dust and debris. Soldiers were running toward the ramps, eager to escape before the devourers overwhelmed their position. "I'll do it," Marcus said. "But I don't know the first thing about raising Zephyrian young." "They will know you by scent," Vextar explained quickly as they moved toward the nearest transport. "I will mark you with my scent glands before we part. They will accept you as pack leader in my absence." As they climbed aboard the evacuation ship, Marcus wondered what the hell he was getting himself into. The transport was packed with wounded soldiers from a dozen different species. The air recycling system struggled to handle the mix of atmospheric requirements, creating a strange cocktail of smells and humidity levels. Vextar led him to a quiet corner of the cargo hold as the ship lifted off. Through the porthole, Marcus could see the surface of Kepler 442b falling away below them, still scarred by the ongoing battle. "There are things you must know," Vextar said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Zephyrian cubs are born with their hunting instincts already developed. They will try to establish dominance. You must not show weakness, but you must also not harm them. Discipline must be firm but fair." "Okay." Marcus nodded, trying to process this information. "What do they eat?" "Protein. Fresh meat is best, but they can survive on synthesized nutrients if necessary. They will grow quickly in the coming months. By the time I return, they may be nearly adult size." The ship lurched slightly as it entered hyperspace. Marcus gripped the safety rail and tried to imagine himself caring for 3 alien predator cubs. It seemed insane, but wars made people do insane things. "How long will you be gone?" he asked. Vextar's amber eyes dimmed slightly. "As long as the war continues. The metal devourers have taken 7 worlds in the past month. If we do not stop them soon, there will be nothing left to save." For the rest of the journey to Sanctuary Station, Vextar taught Marcus everything he could about Zephyrian culture and child-rearing. The cubs, he learned, were named Kexare, Nixval, and Zoreth. Kexare was the eldest and would likely challenge Marcus for leadership first. Nixval was the smallest, but also the most aggressive. Zoreth was curious about everything and would probably get into trouble. "They are good cubs," Vextar said as the station came into view through the porthole. "Strong and intelligent. They will make fine warriors someday, if they survive to adulthood." "They'll survive," Marcus said with more confidence than he felt. "I promise you that." When they docked at Sanctuary Station, Marcus and Vextar made their way to the Zephyrian quarters. The station was a massive structure built into a hollow asteroid, serving as the primary refugee center for displaced populations from the war zones. The Zephyrian section was kept at a lower temperature than the human areas, with artificial gravity set to match Glacialis Prime's higher density. As they walked through the corridors, other Zephyrians stopped and stared. Marcus was probably the first human most of them had ever seen in their living spaces. They reached Vextar's temporary quarters, where the warrior began the scent-marking ritual. Using specialized glands near his throat, Vextar applied his personal scent to Marcus's uniform and skin. The smell was musky but not unpleasant, like pine needles mixed with ozone. "This will tell my cubs that you are to be trusted," Vextar explained. "But remember, they may still test you. Cubs learn through challenges." A chime sounded over the station's communication system. "All military personnel report for reassignment briefing. All military personnel report for reassignment briefing." Vextar's ears flattened against his skull. "It is time." They made their way back through the station to the military section. In the briefing room, Marcus learned that he had been granted emergency leave to care for the Zephyrian cubs. It was an unprecedented situation, but the Alliance Command had decided that maintaining good relations with their Zephyrian allies was worth the risk. "You sure about this, Sergeant?" asked Commander Harrison, a grizzled veteran who had been fighting the Devourers since the war began. "Those aren't puppies you're volunteering to babysit." "I'm sure, sir," Marcus replied. "Vextar saved my life more times than I can count. This is the least I can do." The transport to Glacialis Prime would leave in 4 hours. As Marcus prepared for the journey, Vextar gave him one final piece of advice. "Remember, human Marcus," the Zephyrian said solemnly. "My cubs are the future of my bloodline. But, more than that, they are my heart. I am trusting you with everything that matters to me." Marcus clasped the alien warrior's clawed hand in his own. "I won't let you down, Vextar. I swear it." As Vextar departed for his new assignment in the Outer Rim territories, Marcus boarded the transport to Glacialis Prime. He spent the journey reading everything the Alliance databases had about Zephyrian biology, psychology, and culture. Most of it was based on limited observations and second-hand reports, since the Zephyrians were notoriously private about their family life. Glacialis Prime was a world of extremes. The ice-covered continents were broken by vast mountain ranges and deep canyons carved by ancient glaciers. The atmosphere was thin but breathable for humans with the help of a portable oxygen concentrator. The temperature averaged 30 degrees below freezing, requiring Marcus to wear a full environmental suit. The sacred caves where the cubs waited were located deep beneath Mount Kythera, the highest peak on the planet's main continent. Marcus had to hire a local guide, an elderly Zephyrian named Torshan, who spoke broken standard. "Human want to see young ones?" Torshan asked as they made their way down the treacherous mountain paths. "Very strange. Cubs not for outsiders. Their father asked me to care for them," Marcus explained, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air.